Well, happy Saturday, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It's the 11th of March, 2023. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here, where we had some snow last night, maybe just a hair under an inch and a lot of rain, but again, at least some snow. Daylight savings time starts tonight. Yippee skippy. Again, it'd be earlier, a little darker in the mornings, but brighter in the evenings. So we'll take it. I wish they'd leave it on this mode all year long, but again, don't forget to turn forward here tonight. Thing that's off way too early here, obviously, is 2 to 3, 4 week earlier start to the spring vegetation with grass, trees, flowers, fruit trees, you name it, growing from Texas to the mid-Atlantic, even as far as southern New Jersey. This is bad news when you see the forecast here of, again, some of the coldest conditions in 9 years for the next couple of weeks. So not good news. We're definitely going to have some frost and freeze concerns for both fruit trees and, again, your backyard vegetation. Good news here on the drought front here. Again, as expected, the La Niña cycle, 3-year cycle is collapsing. We're definitely heading into a flood stage here this year and into 2024. We peaked at about 85% of the country back on 1 November with dry to drought phases, so that was near multi-decade highs, almost record high. Here today, we're at 55% of the country in dry to drought phases, so dramatic improvement, and this, again, will continue week after week here across the U.S. With these conditions of a colder weather cycle, obviously, you're going to have a lot of cold fronts clashing with the typical Bermuda Ridge in the southeast, and that's a good tornado signature here. So we're already at 259, 77% above average, most in 4 years. That was our projection a year ago, that we'd have the most severe and active season in at least 4 years. So off to that start here already. If we look at season-to-date snowfall with the snowiest week here, this last week was the snowiest in 24 years nationally, so it was a very snowy week. We picked up some ground here on the season to date, meaning 1 September through 11 March, 14% more than last year, 8% below average, 16th least in 38 years. We do believe here with the March, again being the snowiest in 4+ years, that we'll end up with the seasonal snow, 1 September through the end of March, the most in 4 years, still below average, but again, probably going to be at that most in 4, so just a uptick here. Hard to believe here, but the weekly snowfall trend shows that Christmas, mid-December, Christmas period, still the snowiest week of winter. So again, actually fall by the sun standards. But again, we're picking up some ground here in late February, March, with again looks like 5 straight weeks snowier than last year. So again, looks like that December peak, mid-December period is going to hold on to the top spot for winter snowfall, which is again unusual. Looking at last week, world summer here, week ending here tonight across the U.S., we were 4.6 warmer than last year, 17th warmest in 38 years, so in the middle of the pack, about average nationally. 49% drier than a year ago, 8th driest in 38 years, so below average there. So even though it was warm and dry, guess what? Still more snow, 11% more snow than last year, most in 24 years, 4th most in 38 years. So it doesn't always correlate between temperatures and what you get. It's just timing of everything. But again, so a very snowy week for sure in the U.S. Coldest in 6 years up in Canada, very cold in the UK, coldest in 10 years, 3rd coldest in 38 years, so very cold across the extreme northern Europe and the UK. China was the hotspot, number 1 hottest in 38 years. Maps in set left are the trends versus average. Look at this week here, week ending 18 March here, St. Patrick's Day here late this week. Here in the US, cold trends are starting. 6.3 colder than last year, coldest in 6 years, 8th coldest in 38 years, so below average national temperatures. And this is just the start here, again, of probably a 2-3 week cycle here. Precip wetter, 57% wetter than last year, wettest in 20 years, so 3rd wettest in 38. So again, classic sign that this drought cycle is over for sure. 823% more snow than last year. Obviously this year the snow totals aren't as extreme, so we can get these huge increases. So 823% more, most in 6 years, 2nd most in 38 years. So a very, very snowy week for sure for this time of year. Maps inset left are the temperature trends versus last year and precip trends versus average. Look at the 6-day snowfall trend here. We just got a system exiting the northeast here. Not doing too much for the northeast, but again, a moderate event, 2 to 8 inch type storms, snow totals. We had about a half inch or so here at WT 360 here last night. So here's Sunday, another system coming in Monday, Tuesday. You'll probably get another couple inches here in our area. Early next week. Heavier this storm, though, for the New England areas, where they could be talking 8 to 18 inches of snow again for New England. So it's been the least snowiest winter in 38 years for the Northeast, but we're definitely going to pick up ground here with this latest event. And then Wednesday kind of backing out. Thursday, another system moving out of the Rockies into the plains. If we aggregate these 6-day trends here for 11th through the 16th, 37% more than a year ago, 53% above average, most in 5, 6 most in 38 years, and 48% of the U.S. impacted with snow here the next 6 days. So again, anything but spring-like here for sure. And this chart just puts it into perspective of a, again, snowier pattern. Part of this is due to the polar vortex, which again is collapsed. Normally collapses in the spring time frame. It's probably doing it a little early right now. And when it does this, it just allows the cold air at the Arctic to move south. And that's exactly what it's doing. Jet stream's weaker, and it just allows the cold to move. And it's definitely moving. And its favorite spot here is looks like Canada and the U.S. here over the next few weeks. Here next week, again, hard to believe, getting to the end of March here, 25th of March, but 5 degrees colder than last year, coldest in 9 years, 8th coldest in 38 years, with almost coast-to-coast below normal temperatures here, map upper right. So again, almost everywhere below average temperatures. Rainfall, we'll see if it's going to be this dry, but 56% drier than last year, dries in 15, third dries in 38, probably a little bit overdone. Still got to watch again, and we bring the cold, and it's still obviously got some warmth down in the Gulf of Mexico, Florida. We can have a clash of these air masses and get some severe thunderstorms and tornadoes from again about Texas to the Carolinas. So 'tis the season. World 2-week outlook here again. So here in the U.S. overall, the next 2 weeks we trend the coldest in 9 years, snowiest in 6 years. Almost wall-to-wall cold here across the U.S. and southern Canada where people live. Very warm across China and Russia, and again cold spots still there in the UK and northern Europe. So again, we're kind of the brunt of the cold here for the next few weeks. Reach out to Mrs. Captain Kirk here. A happy 9th anniversary. Wish we were this day actually last year. This is where we were. Beautiful Lanakai Waimanalo Beach area of Oahu, where I grew up as a kid. So happy anniversary to the Mrs. Captain Kirk. And really would wish we were back there in Hawaii. Again, Kaneohe Bay here, where I grew up as a little kid. So again, definitely would love to head back, hopefully one day soon. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here again this time next week.